Japan's textbook denial.
In Glendale, California, a bronze statue of a demure girl sitting commemorates the thousands of Korean women employed as comfort women by Japanese soldiers during World War II.
Sex slavery, one of the most contentious topics of World War II, is still disputed by some right-wing cliques in the Japanese government and their supporters, despite an abundance of evidence backing up claims made by South Korea and China. On January 27, 2015, Japanese academics and historians, some with backing from the Japanese government, sought to persuade US-based publisher McGraw-Hill to correct its many erroneous expressions in the college textbook Traditions and Encounters, A Global Perspective on the Past, with regards to sex slaves used by Japanese soldiers. But the publisher refused. So what exactly does the book say about sex slavery during World War II? According to the book, around 200,000 women, mainly from Korea, China, and the Philippines, were forced to provide sexual services for Japanese soldiers.
The book also outlined that the women were considered a gift from Japanese emperor.
Yet the Japanese government continues to assert that neither their predecessors nor the military were involved in the coercion of the women. The same textbook estimates the death toll of the Nanjing massacre in China as nearly 400,000, a number greater than the 300,000 often cited in Chinese history textbooks. The World War II death tolls of affected countries have also been covered in German history textbooks. In a high school textbook called Geschichte, jointly published by French publishing house Nathan and Germany's Ernst Klett in 2008, the number of China's military deaths during World War II reached 1.5 million. In Horizonte, another high school history textbook published by Westermann in 2010, the total Chinese death toll is listed as at least 20 million.
From Johannes Rau to Gerhard Schroeder, German leaders have long followed a position of contrition for Germany's role in World War II, and this attitude is also reflected in its textbooks.
In the textbook titled A History of Germany, used in many Hanover schools, 1/5 of the book's content pertains to World War II. Hitler's wartime conduct is dutifully described, from his use of propaganda to the war itself to all the atrocities of the Holocaust.
In Japan, there are roughly 7 versions of history textbooks for middle school education, published by 7 different companies.
Some of the books objectively depict Japan's invasion and colonization of its Asian neighbors, but some do not.
Textbooks published by Tokyo Shoseki are the most widely circulated in Japan, and the books unequivocally admit that Japan invaded China and committed the Nanjing Massacre, although the massacre is referred to as the Nanjing Incident.
Textbooks promoted by Japan's right-wingers, however, provide a much different version of history. In the textbook titled The New History Textbook from Fususha Publishing, the exact death toll of Chinese soldiers and citizens in the Nanjing Massacre is said to be still a matter of dispute. Fortunately, the textbooks promoted by the right-wing factions of the Japanese government are not widely used. In 2012, only 4% of Japanese schools used these books. Over the past decade, the right-wingers have paid increasing attention to the revision and downplaying of Japan's wartime offenses through their doctored history books, but they do not seem to understand that while history may forgive, it never forgets.